on my channel where I talk about things. In this video, I'm going to talk about something a little bit different than I usually talk about. Actually, kind of related to what I spoke about this morning when I did a little video about something to do with the music industry. It's related to the Eurovision contest that happened yesterday in Basel, Switzerland. But today, now in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the music industry in general, in a broader sense, and a piece I recently saw. It was actually a live stream by the music reviewer, and musician, and music teacher. He's really a great musician and a great music teacher, to be honest, and a great music interviewer and a great music reviewer in general. Beato, I think it's how you pronounce his last name. Beato, I think it's Beato. Anyway, he's a really great character in the music space, let's put it that way, certainly on YouTube. The guy's got millions of followers, and if you don't know who he is, check it out. Beato, Beato. He recently did a live stream where he asked the question. I think the title of the live stream was, are memorable songs dead, or is the new music and is the new age of music, or is the current age of music that we're in the death of memorable songs? And to be honest, I mean, it's a very good question. Let's start off with that. Right? It is a very good question. Is the music being produced today memorable at all? And is it the death? Are we in the age of the death of the memorable songs? And then he began to play a whole bunch of different songs from kind of the golden age of rock and pop. From at least the stuff that I heard was from like the 70s and 80s, etc. I think maybe some stuff from the 60s, and some newer stuff also. But he played a bunch of like really new stuff, contemporary kind of stuff, and as he put it, the songs that appear on Spotify's daily, top played music, or top played songs. And from my point of view, well, hello there. This is northern Israel, in case you're wondering, and these are some fields. If you can tell me what kind of fields, what kind of crops those are growing, you win a point. Do you know what kind of crops those are? It's a farm field right here, so let's see if you can figure out what kind of crops those are as you ask. A free Palestine. Hey man, I'm all for a free Palestine if they want to live in peace next to Israel, absolutely. But that's not the point of this video. But we can talk about that some other time if you like. But yeah, I have no problem with that. If we want to be peaceful neighbors, living in peace next to each other, I'm all for that. What is that? Go back to Poland, where I'm from. You're hilarious. No, I'm not from Poland, man. Anyway, so this video is about the music industry, and that's what we're going to stay focused on. See, I just mentioned the fact that I'm in northern Israel. I don't mention anything about where I'm from or anything that I'm doing. People just get so emotional about this stuff. Anyway, maybe next time I'll just tell you, hey, I'm in Kansas. No, but I'm not going to lie to you, unlike some other people. So, in the music industry, we have a lot of good questions about whether or not it is in fact the death of the memorable song. And Rick Beato, like I said, kept asking the question and playing different tunes as examples of like the older stuff being more memorable than kind of like the new music that's played today on Spotify. And yes, the new music that's being played today, that's being made today, is essentially written by committee, if you will, as he put it. And it's designed to appeal to a broad audience. It's not designed to be very catchy, necessarily very memorable. It's designed to be kind of like, bubble gum for the mind, just to pass the time. And a lot of people don't necessarily care as much about music, certainly don't learn as much about music these days as they used to. Maybe it's because they spend so much time scrolling through short videos or social media feeds or whatever, and they don't care so much about actual music, and certainly not learning anything about it. So the culture of music is kind of very different now. But really, from my point of view, it's not quite correct, because music, to be honest, changes over time. Tastes change over time. And also, you have to remember that until the music tech revolution happened, starting with MP3s and all that about 20, 25 years ago, with the whole evolution of Napster and all these downloadable ways to get music on the internet, it was always up to very large corporations to decide who gets picked to be seen and heard. And while that still remains the case today, there's obviously infinite more or massively more independent artists making and publishing their own music, through the power of technology that we have now that we didn't have 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? Anyone with a camera and a good mic can make a music video. Anyone with just a good mic can record great songs, as long as they have, instrument and a way to perform the music. And so you have a clash between these massive corporations that were used to ripping off consumers, charging $10, $20, $30 per CD or per record or per album, right? Versus now you've got basically people downloading music either for free, let's be honest, a lot of people do that, or downloading iTunes for whatever it is, 99 cents a song or something like that, and choosing which songs, if any, they want from the album. And they listen to the sample. If they want it, they buy it. If not, they don't. Or they just watch the video on YouTube or listen to the song on Spotify, right? And so you still have these large corporations. Well, how does music get played on Spotify? It's just like pay for playback in the radio days. It's no different. Do you think big corporations aren't paying for coverage on Spotify? They absolutely are. If you have enough money, you can get your song played a bazillion times on Spotify. They do that too. They promote the artists on their label, what they call the big artists or the big names or whatever, the ones with whom they have the big contracts, so they better get some record sales, or they better get some album plays or whatever their business model is, because otherwise they're going to lose money. They want to lose money. They're in it for profit. They're not in it for music quality. They've never been in it for music quality, even at a time when they could afford to be in it for music quality, and they did afford to be in it for quality music. Why? Because A, you had far fewer distribution channels. B, right, even the executives themselves were driven by the idea of making huge profits by selling high quality music. Now they don't care about selling high quality music. Now they just care about making profits by selling music, regardless of the quality. That's the big difference, right? And you can't be upset at the technology for doing that, because it's not the technology that's doing that. The technology leveled the playing field so that independent artists who are actually really good and will just never get discovered or picked up because A, either they don't play the game, the climb the ladder game, or B, they're just never going to be discovered by those agents, or C, there's just too many artists on labels already, so they're never going to get picked, even if they're really talented, right? So the labels pick the artists that they want for whatever reasons, because they believe that those artists are marketable, and then many great artists will never get picked. So it's the labels that are producing the garbage, the big labels, not the independent artists. Independent artists are producing tons of amazing music. You just have to look for it. So no, it's not the age of the death of the memorable song. We've not reached that point at all. In fact, we're at a point where now there are probably more memorable songs being created than ever before. It's just that they're much more niche. They hit a much more niche audience because those independent artists aren't reaching tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people at a time with their songs. They're reaching 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, right? So it's a huge difference, an enormous difference in terms of like, the size and scope of the reach of artists. But that doesn't mean that the music's not getting out there. It just means that it's getting out there in different ways, and the channels of distribution are different. Um, and I believe, all in all, that's good for the music industry. It needed a kick in the pants business model, and it still needs to. And the fact that artists make more money, just selling out concerts and selling on merchandise at concerts than they do, making music, is very telling about the way that the industry still to this day squeezes the artists that they sign dry at an unfair rate. And once that changes, then maybe you could say, okay, now the field level, the field is level, the playing field is level. Until then, no, I think it's actually very good, and I don't think we're in the age of the death of the memorable song, and that's going to be that for now. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Hello. How are you?
Hey, how was it?
Good.
Yeah?
No good.
What?